Hey there, everybody. I'm CCP Dolan here with CCP Rise, bringing you No Boundaries in red versus Asine Hitama's team in blue. We're going to see how well the defending tournament champions do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the setups they've brought here today?
Two really awesome, completely new setups. For the red side, No Boundaries, we have a Marauder setup. So it's just one Vargur. Of course, you're only able to bring one to each match. They cost 25 points. And then a Slipner, a Scimitar, and 3 Harpies and 1 Merlin. So that's a No Boundaries setup. And then on Asine Hitama's side, we have 2 Fleet Typhoons, a Scimitar, a Bellicose, 3 Harpies, and a Nemesis. So all kinds of crazy stuff going on here. The Marauder, of course, the focal point, I think. But Fleet Foons, really cool as well. 1 Stealth Bomber in there, which is pretty fortunate considering they're up against the Marauder. Have to see if the Harpies are able to take that Nemesis out early. And we are underway now. The team started, it looks like No Boundaries started at 0 on the beacon for the most part. And Asine Hitama team warped into max range, 50k from the beacon.
Yep. It's going to be a real strong battle between the 2 frigate wings here. I also am interested to see how this Bellicose is going to come into play, especially with the Fleet Typhoons unveiled. So we see here immediate primary going in the Slipner for No Boundaries. They really have to drop off all these reps if they're going to eventually break the Vargur. I think they probably should leave the Vargur for last.
Right, yeah. I mean, one thing about the Vargur, though, is he's hard to deal with no matter what. The Marauder changes made it so that in Bastion mode, he has such an enormous tank that he'll be really difficult to break until maybe they cap him out. He can't catch reps from the Scimitar while he's in Bastion mode, but he probably just doesn't even need them. And it looks like they're doing pretty well on that Slipner, actually. The Fleet Foon on the other side for Asine Hitama team is taking some damage, but not an enormous amount. And there's clearly some fights going on around the frigs. You see scrams there on one of the Harpies and on that Nemesis for Asine Hitama team.
But they're going straight for that Fleet Typhoon immediately. They have strong damps on that Scimitar and no reps. They're actually getting reps on the opposite Fleet Typhoon. A big mistake there from the Scimitar pilot. But as I say that, we lose the Scimitar for No Boundaries as well. And also the Fleet Typhoon for Asine Hitama's team is dropping into armor with still no shield reps on it.
Wow, this is very close for now with that Slipner down. It looks like that Nemesis...
Slipner, not a Scimitar.
Yeah, I was going to say. But that Scimitar is webbed now. And wow, Vargur's actually taking some damage as well. He honestly can probably boost like half of his shield HP per cycle, so that's really not a big deal. But that Scimitar going solo definitely is a big deal. Yeah. Fleet Typhoon's doing really well. Scimitar looks like it's about to drop for No Boundaries, and there it goes.
Staffo doesn't really need to rep a Fleet Typhoon until it's in armor. He's now caught reps on there. Staffo, a veteran tournament pilot. So we're going to have to see if those hold, as the No Boundaries team is just getting picked apart here with no reps on its frigate wing.
We'll have to see if one crazy thing about one reason why the Marauders are so good in the tournament environment is that the E-War has no effect outside of Cap War, so no tracking disruptors, no damps will affect that Vargur, so he can keep doing damage and he can shoot a really long ways as well, so that Fleet Foon will probably keep taking damage. But the DPS isn't actually all that high, so as long as their logistics is alive, I would think that the Fleet Foon would be able to keep tanking. And that bodes really well for Asine Hitama's team, and we're seeing 1 Merlin down already. It looks like a Harpy's tackled, Merlin going down as well. This is pretty impressive by Asine Hitama.
Yeah, ultimately, No Boundaries made the call to apply all their damage to that Fleet Typhoon. Nearly broke it. It was actually in armor before it caught any shield reps as they were damping out that Scimitar. But when you make a call like that, you really have to kill the Fleet Typhoon immediately before it starts catching reps and you start losing your frigate wing here.
Yep, and there's really no hope at this point for No Boundaries. I've spent half this match like kind of looking at the Fleet Typhoon. I actually just rebalanced it recently, but it's already passed through my memory for the most part. It's a really versatile ship. It can do a whole lot of things. These ones are shield tanked and have a cruise missile setup. But you can, of course, they have a split weapon bonus, so you can put cannons on them as well. An armor tank wouldn't be crazy. They have a huge drone bay and bandwidth, so you can do a lot in that area as well. They're just really, really strong, versatile ships. That Scimitar actually taking a lot of damage now. There's newts on it. The Vargur must have gotten close. Another feature, of course, of the Marauders is we see the last frigate go down. Now it'll be time to see if they can actually break this Vargur or not. They have quite a bit of time to do it, and they should have some neutralizers from the Fleet Typhoons as well. And that Scimitar actually hurting pretty bad.
Yeah, Scimitar is going to drop here, actually. But I think it's too little too late. The Vargur in Bastion mode, they can just leave it be and just kite its guns as much as possible and just let the match time run out.
I can't believe he's going to kill that Scimitar. That's crazy.
I think that they're just...
It doesn't make any difference, of course, but that's... at least I hope it doesn't. That would be pretty wild if the Vargur just brought back the entire match by itself. But it's still impressive the Scimitar isn't able to get away from just those battleship guns. The other big feature of the Marauder rebalance, there's a Bastion mode, of course, which makes you extremely tanky and immune to most kinds of E-War. The other big thing that Marauders do is they can micro jump drive much more often than other battleships. So the
Not
Bastion
tanky
mode,
enough, though.
no, not tanky enough at all. Those neutralizers really going to town on that Varger, and it's also possible he's ASB tanked, and that'll run out of charges. And there you see the micro jump drive. So now the damage should trail off again. Probably the cruise launchers probably get to him again actually pretty easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can micro jump every minute, which is really very often. So you can see these guys just hopping all over the field. Probably not going to do him any good here.
Yeah, the Fleet Typhoon's still able to apply damage, and that's going to be...
There he goes. So no boundaries
down.
losing their only Marauder they're able to bring for this tournament. And Asine Hitama's team looking really good in their first match.
That's a pretty significant blow early on. Let's see how it affects them throughout the tournament. They still have one more drop into the losers bracket, and we'll see you guys back in the studio in just a bit.